the box and then we'll pause so I can move the camera when we get inside the box. Take the lid off. Here on this hive there's an extra inner lid. So I'm going to have to take that one off before we can see the bees. And there it is. Okay, so here's the bees. All the bees you're looking at, most of them are worker bees. This one right here, this really big guy, see if I can pick him up. Nope, didn't want to get picked up. The big ones are the boys, those are the drones. And their only job is to mate with the queen, and then that's the only thing they do. They don't go out and collect nectar, they don't collect pollen, they don't really do anything other than that. The rest of these, like all of these size bees right here, these are all worker bees. They're all girls, and they, oops, look out, honey. They are the ones that collect all the nectar, all the pollen. They help raise the babies. This is what a frame looks like. You can see all the bees on it. I'm going to see if I can find a more exciting frame that has some larvae and some other stuff on it. I'm going to look for the queen too, and maybe we'll find her. Maybe we'll get lucky. There's only one, okay, there's only one queen in a hive, and sometimes they're hard to find. So, I'm going to set this down a little bit and show you a couple things. Like this right here, this big guy, this is a drone. These really big ones are the drones, and these other ones are the workers. All this shiny stuff that you see here is nectar that they've collected from flowers. Let's see if I can get my glove off. Point. This is the nectar from flowers. These white and yellowish kind of things are pollen that they've collected from the flowers, and here's one with some reddish orangish pollen. It just depends on what flower it comes from, what color the pollen is. And so they save that because they feed their babies the pollen, and that's what they eat to grow into big, strong, healthy bees. So this frame is really exciting for us to look at. I'm going to get the bees to move a little bit by blowing on them. All of this stuff that's dark and capped, there's baby bees inside there. At this stage they're called pupa. Over here you can see those little tiny white things inside those cells. Those are larvae. So the stages of bees, the queen lays an egg, and then when the egg hatches it turns into these larvae. And then when the larvae get old enough, these worker bees, like this one here, puts a cap over the top of it and it turns into the pupa. And the pupa is sort of the metamorphosis phase where they spin a cocoon around themselves and then they turn into, this kind of brood is going to turn into this worker bee right here, like these worker bees. And off camera I'm looking at the other side of the frames trying to see if I can find the queen to show you the queen. I know the queen in this hive is what we call marked. She's got a little dot of green paint on her to help us find her easy, so hopefully I'll find her so you can see her. Lots more brood, which is really good. Oh, this is exciting. Here is a bee right here with a bunch of pollen on its back legs. They that's where they gather it. When they gather on a flower, they put it in these pollen baskets on their back legs so that they can bring it back to the hive. And then she will use her other legs to scrape it off into one of these cells, or another bee might help her scrape it off. There's some more bees on this side. See if you can see the ones that have the pollen on them. And take a minute and see if you can spot the drones, the big boys. Okay, here's this here. See how these capped ones look a little different? They're all bumpy instead of flat like the other ones I showed you. These are the drone brood. They're the boy ones. And they're a little bit bigger bees, so their cells have to have a bump to them in order to make space for that bigger body that they have. Here's one of those drones that we were talking about. I still haven't seen the queen in this frame yet, or in this hive yet, but there's a lot more capped brood. There's a lot of little larvae in there, so I know the queen is in here and I know she's laying eggs. I just haven't seen her yet. Okay, I'm still looking for the queen, but I found on some frames in a different box on the same hive some interesting stuff that I wanted to show you. This is what it looks like when the bees make honey. Once the nectar reaches a certain stage, they put these wax caps over it, and this is all honey underneath there that they're going to use to live through the winter. And this is also the kind of honey that beekeepers take out to give to people, to sell to people, and this is what you would put on your toast or in your tea or whatever. And this is exactly where it comes from, and this is what it looks like when the bees are just making it.